Tony and I'm a Transwave ambassador. On the day I was born, the doctor told my mother it's a girl. I was brought up as a girl because of what society thinks. Because I feel like
YouTube.
Why would I choose to live a life of constant pain, taking the risk of losing my loved ones, and also being discriminated against? What I wish for Jamaica is for persons to be willing to learn the difference between sex and gender. Because after all, Jamaica is my home. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tony and I'm back with another video. Alright, so in today's video I'll be doing 24 things I've learned in 24 years. As you all should know by now, that the 14th, this coming Saturday, is my birthday, and I'll be 24 years of age. Yeah. So in this video, I'll be talking about 24 things I've learned in 24 years. I'll be talking about 8 of them, right? All right. So the first thing I have here. Alright, so the first thing I have on my list is I am transgender. Yeah, so that's the first thing, and no need to expound on that. That's well known. So I've learned that before in 24 years. I've learned that I'm transgender. Alright, number 2 is it's okay to be different. And how I came to know about that or realize that is when I started finding myself. And that I realized I was trans, and I thought that I wasn't masculine enough to be trans, and it dawned on me that after long thinking and reflecting, I realized that it's okay to be different. I don't have to fit in a box of what a masculine person should be, or what a feminine person should be, or what a man should be, or a woman should be. I don't have to fit in that box, right? So that's how I came to the realization that it's okay to be different. Alright, number 3. Love and being in love are different. Alright, when you love someone, when you're in love with someone, that's 2 different stuff, right? When you love someone, for me, like my definition, when you love someone, you tend to think about how the person makes you feel. You tend to think about you tend to include yourself in a lot of things, right? And when you're in love with someone, it's when you're selfless, right? You no longer care about you. Not say you don't care about you, but the person becomes your number one, or the person becomes the person that you put above yourself, in a sense, right? And one more thing is that when you're in love with someone, you don't fall out of love with that person. And you'll find that a lot of persons they're in love with someone, but they're with someone else, right? Because you might be in love with someone, and being in love with someone doesn't mean that the relationship is going to work. It doesn't mean that that person is going to be in love with you back, in a sense, right? So you can be in love with someone and you can love someone different. You can be in a relationship with someone that you're not actually in love with, but you love that person. You genuinely love that person. You love that person for themselves, but you're not in love with that person, right? And one thing why I came to realize is that in my previous relationship, I cannot say that I've never loved anyone, because I have. I have loved a lot of persons, but my relationship now is different, right? In my previous relationship, it was all about how the person makes me feel. It was all about me, right? I'm not saying that I didn't think about the person, but in a sense where I wasn't selfless, right? I put myself before everybody else. That's how I saw things. When I'm in the relationship I am right now, I realize that without even thinking, without even realizing, I actually put the person before myself. I actually stop thinking about myself and start thinking about the person, how I make the person feel, not how the person makes me feel, right? Yeah. All right, number 4 Sex and gender is not the same, right? And I came to that realization when I came to realization that I'm transgender, because I realized that my sex doesn't match with the gender, with my gender. So I realized that sex is all about chromosomes. It's all about your genitals. It's all about, you can say, physical appearance in a sense, not necessarily, but it's all about your genitals, your chromosomes, right? Your gender, no, depends on how. Is your gender is all about your brain, what's up here, how you see yourself, how you present yourself. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? When you think about yourself, what pronouns do you prefer to use? So it's all about what's in your brain and how you feel. So they're two different things, right? All right, number five, blood is not always thicker than water. Like them always, blood is thicker than water, and it's not always the case. Because since I came out, I realized that I get more support from my friends than from my own family. I find I get a stronger bond with people that are not my blood, and the person that are my blood, I don't get that strong connection with them. Or I don't get that acceptance. I don't feel that love. I'm not saying that all of them are the same, but yeah, majority of them I don't get that same love that I would feel from my friends or my associates or person that are not my blood, right? That's number five. Number six, femininity and masculinity is toxic. And the reason why I realize that is because person tend to put femininity and masculinity in a box, and it can be toxic to persons. For me, all right, I find out that when I realized I was trans, I didn't feel like I was masculine enough, right? And in that sense, like you put a box what a masculine person is supposed to be, how a masculine person is supposed to act, how a masculine person is supposed to present themselves. And I find out that the box that they put masculinity in, I don't find that I have all that characteristics that they would fit that in, right? So I find out that I hated myself for it. And I know a lot of persons that feel the same way, right? Femininity and masculinity is how you, like everybody have a different definition for masculinity. Everybody have a different definition for femininity. And when you put how you feel a masculine person should be on another person, or you feel a feminine person should be on another person, you you can damage that person. Like you can have a masculine trans woman, same like you can have a masculine woman. Like you can have a masculine cis woman, you can have a masculine trans woman. You have some trans women that are lesbians, and they you would say that they would play the butch role in our lesbian relationship. Things like that do happen. And when persons see things like that, they will say, but how you know that you're a trans woman if you are so masculine, right? And so that's why really it can be toxic. Number seven, mental health is important. Mental health is very important, and it's important for your own growth. It is important for a lot of things, right? Because when you put when your mental health is not at the place it should be, you cannot grow. You cannot be your authentic self. You cannot be the person that you see yourself to be. Like when your mental health is whack, right? Your potential, the potential that you have inside will not come forth. It will not multiply. It will not manifest itself because what? You mentally you are not okay, and if you're not okay mentally, you cannot grow, and you can find a lot. You can hate yourself. A lot of things can happen when your mental health is not in check, and that's why your mental health has to be in check for you to grow, and that's why you need to put your mental health before everybody else, right? And the reason why you need to do that because happiness comes from within, and if your mental health is not where it should be, then it's a possibility that you will not be genuinely happy, right? because you're going to find a lot of things that's wrong with yourself, a lot of things. I'm not saying that mental health is going to come easy, especially when you from the beginning you have a very um low self-esteem, you have a lot of negative energy around you, then your mental health getting to the place that it should be will not be will not be easy, right? But if you realize that your mental health is important, and you put it before everybody else, and you work on it to allow it to grow, to allow your mental health to be at the place it should be. If you The fact that you're going to realize that your mental health is important, then you're going to say, hey, you might mean no well, but your actions are the way your action, it doesn't show, right, in your actions. And your actions might mean well, but the effect that you have on the person is negative. And sometimes a lot of persons will say that, why can't you look at things on a different point of view or whatever? But you have to realize that each individual is different, and you have to communicate with a person based on their level of communication, or you have to communicate with a person based on how they will understand, right? And you might say, all right, this is how I communicate, and because this is how I communicate, that's how I'm going to communicate, and you just need to understand it. And that can be damaging to a lot of persons. So that's why in a case like that, that's why the person on the receiving end, or each individual person, need to put their mental health at the point where put your mental health in a spot where you're going to focus on that. And what if someone is not contributing to the wellness of your mental health, then you cut them off, easy like that. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but once you realize that your mental health is important, you will do what's necessary to reach that point where you should be, right? Number 8, sexual and romantic attraction are different. And that's where I will stop today. But to go into that, like your sexual attraction and your romantic attraction are not the same. And the reason that is that you might find out a person that might be sexually attracted to a person, but they will not necessarily date the person, right? You might find out a person that may be romantic attracted to that person, especially like an asexual person that really, you would say that they don't focus on sex, right? And they're not going to be with you because you're sexually aroused. They might be with you because they're romantically attracted to you. And once you're romantically attracted to a person, sex is going to come eventually, right? Um, so your sexual orientation is based on who you're romantically attracted to. And I had this discussion. I realized that I was having this discussion over and over, and I realized that with myself, that when I realized that sexual orientation, that sexual attraction and romantic attraction is different, is when I realized that I find myself sexually attracted to. I can be sexually attracted to anyone that's feminine. It could be a trans man, a trans woman, a cis man, a cis woman. I can be sexually attracted to them, but I am only romantically attracted to a cis woman because, yeah, everybody who know me go when me go say about that. But anyways, that's not the video. That's not the video for that. So yeah, so your sexual attraction and romantic attraction are different, and that's just it. Another person might question it and they might say, well, for example, all right, I have an example. You might find a cis woman or a woman that might be sexually attracted to a woman, to another woman, right? But they will not necessarily date that person, or they might be sexually attracted to that person, but they're not going to work, and they're not going to follow that instinct. So they will never ever try to they will never ever try to do that, or they will never ever try to have sex with a woman because maybe when they think about sex, it has to be someone that they're with. And so in that case, they will never find them pursuing a woman or trying to have sex with a woman. But it does not deny the fact that they are sexually attracted to women, right? It can be for the same for a man, whether trans man or cis man. It can be the same. Alright, so yeah, sexual attraction and romantic attraction are different. So that's it for my video. I hope from my 8 things, like if you agree with any one of them, you can comment below. If you don't agree, you can leave a comment below. We can have a discussion about it. Alright, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace. Because after all, Jamaica is my home.